So happy New Year. Happy 2025. Turn to those next to you and say, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I'm excited to see what will unfold for us this morning. This is a very sacred ceremony, and through the upcoming year, within each of us, the white stone will become really apparent. Last week was for some of us, a very emotional and hopefully deeply meaningful release into the burning bowl. And this week we move forward with new hope and a new start, though we will go backwards a little bit before we move forward. So many people, we begin the new year with resolutions and goals, such as quit smoking, eat less, drink less, lose weight, incorporate more exercise, save more or spend less, get a new job, learn a new skill. Do those all sound familiar? Rarely do people have on their list meditate more, be more compassionate, be more present, be more grateful, give more, be more understanding, be a better listener. I've never seen those on anybody's list, right? Except on ours, because we are unity people. We know what's important, right? Regardless of our thoughts or our goals or our intentions for 2025, we've each been given the same gift. 525,600 minutes. How did I do that? We have the same amount of minutes every year. Each year we have the same amount, and that's why I needed that song to happen today. Thank you, thank you. So we get to decide what to do with those 525,600 minutes. It's a choice, and it's a soul choice. The scripture that we're using today is Revelation 2:17. It goes like this. Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying. To everyone who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. And that was just read to us this morning. Thank you. So today is a time when we recognize our ongoing bondage. A lot of us still carry around a lot of stuff. Our self-imprisonment, I call it. We could just as easily walk around with chains around our wrists or heavy backpacks on our back, or we could drag around heavy suitcases because we continue, many of us, I would say even most of us, continue to carry around old stuff. This is an opportunity today to dump that old stuff. Last week was the beginning. We burned up a lot of stuff. Today we carry it forward. So obviously handcuffs or chains or a backpack or a suitcase or a duffel bag, however you see it, they're just symbols. They're symbols. We don't actually see each other carrying those things. But if we did, we would look at that person and go, oh my goodness, they've got a heavy load there. But we carry that stuff with us. So each and every one of us is seeking freedom from the heavy weight that I just spoke of. And often that weight was put onto us by well-meaning people, meaning our teachers, our parents, the parents of our childhood friends. We've just had a lot of stuff piled on us, not because of our own selves. It's just happened. But now we have the opportunity to participate in a renewal process, the white stone ceremony. We get to dump the chains and the heavy burdens that we've carried with us for a really long time. As this renewal process takes place within, we gain the knowledge of a new name for us. And more importantly, we gain a deeper understanding of that new name and where it might lead us. The white stone is an ancient ritual. We talk about this every year, and I know that it's repetitive, but I think it's important to hear it. It's an ancient ritual. In Jesus' day, back long, thousands of years ago, when someone served time in prison or in bondage of any kind, they were given a white stone when they were released. Everybody knew if you had a white stone, not only were you free, but you had a clean slate. You were able to begin anew. Also, carrying that stone, listen, this gave you all the benefits of being a Roman citizen. That meant you were protected. You had the full force of Rome behind you, and that was a very big deal, especially when you had just gotten out of prison. So each of us comes from a place of imprisonment of some kind today. And when I think of a prison situation, and I have done some prison work in my past, that doesn't mean I've been in prison. I have done some prison work. I think of it as a very scary place. Even when I was serving in that capacity, I always found it to be a scary place with cells and guards and razor wire. But the prison about which I want to speak is the prison of our own design, whether it be a relationship we feel imprisoned by, or a job that we drag ourselves to day after day, or a body that we feel imprisoned by, or the dreams that we've failed to pursue. Those prisons are created within the confines of our own thinking. We created those prisons up here. We always, at every moment, have choices at our disposal that can change our lives completely. Sometimes those choices are pretty unappealing, unsavory even. But we can, bit by bit, move into a more desirable place by making tiny small choices. We make choices every day. And before we know it, those tiny choices become bigger choices. And we make bigger steps up the ladder, out of the hole. We don't necessarily always do it all at once. In fact, for me personally, it was never all at once. It was tiny little bitty steps until I found myself free from my own imprisonment. Can any of you relate to that? Have you worked hard to pull yourself up? Of course, we all have, I think. So then once we're a little bit more free, we can breathe more freely and more deeply. So the white stone ceremony this morning is meant to signify our freedom. All of our past nonsense was as a prison. But now we're free to go and be and do anything we choose. Anything we can believe and conceive, we can be and do. So there are examples in the Bible that coincide with receiving a new name from God. And I know many of you have heard this before, but again, we're just going to review it because we only do it once a year. This is similar to what we'll be doing this morning. So let's look briefly at a couple of the name changes in the Bible. So Saul, if you guys remember Saul, he loved to persecute Jews, right? He loved it. That was his main thing. He hated the Jews. Even though he was a Jew himself, he hated the Christian Jews, the Jews that followed Jesus. So he was on his way to Damascus one day, and his eyes were struck blind for 3 days. He fell to his knees, and he went into himself. Three is so powerful. Remember Jonah in the whale for 3 days? 3 days, 3 is a powerful number. So he was physically blind for 3 days, and he had those 3 days to look within. He went from persecuting Christians to helping them. He became the reason that Christianity survived. His name went from Saul, which means personal will, to Paul, which means enlightened will. So he became the enlightened will that followed God's will. If it were not for Paul, we would not have a clue about what Christianity is. Paul was like the evangelist for all of Christianity that we still enjoy today. Abram, do you guys remember Abram? He grew in spiritual awareness and he became Abraham, and his wife Sarai became Sarah. The change in name always signifies a change in consciousness. In biblical times, a name was very meaningful and a sacred thing. Every name represented a quality that was in the person who carried that name. In that time, a person didn't choose a name for their baby, for their child, because they liked the name. They chose it for whatever essence they saw in the child. I don't know about you, but I scoured baby books when I was pregnant, and tried to choose names that I thought I liked. I did not wait till the baby was born and try to look at their essence and figure out what their name was. But they didn't name babies immediately back in the day. They waited to get to know who that human being was. So I changed my name from Linda, that's my legal name, which means pretty or beautiful, to Lulu, which means light, peaceful, protected, and calm. It is often used as a nickname for Louise, which is my legal middle name, which means famous warrior. Now, I don't know about famous, but I definitely feel like a warrior. Would you agree with that? I did not change my name after looking up what the meaning for Lulu meant. As I was working on this talk, I did, though. I thought, well, let's do a little research. Let's find out what Lulu means. And I thought it would be something dumb. But it wasn't. I'm a warrior. Anyway, there's a long story behind how my name got changed to Lulu. And it's not at all important. It's irrelevant. But anyway, I just thought I'd share. So imagine with me for a moment that a white stone was given to you, and you were given the freedom to write a word or two on this stone that would propel you forward, would free your thinking from your imprisoned self, unshackle you from your chains, and allow spirit full reign in your life, causing you to reach in deeper and climb ever higher and become the very best version of you, allowing source energy to flow in you and through you, because what else do we want to do? That's the reason we're here, to allow source energy to flow in us and through us and as us. So can you imagine the power you might finally be able to access to move yourself forward or change any unacceptable situations in your life? The power of your higher self, your divine self, the I am of you working in concert. Well, hang on for the ride, because that is precisely what we are doing today. I need to emphasize a very important thing. This is the most important thing I'm going to say. This is not an intellectual exercise. A lot of people may have been driving here thinking, okay, Whitestone, what is my word going to be this year? It's not how it works. This word drops into you. It's not something you think up. It's a spiritual experience. It's a soul experience. Not searching for something that appeals to our ego. We are allowing our soul to speak to us. All we have to do is open up our hearts and open up our spiritual ears and say yes. All forward movement begins with a yes. You may have heard that sacred yes before. It starts as a whisper, so it's easy to ignore it. You may have heard something last week during Burning Bowl. There is something in us that beckons us, that calls to us, that prompts us, that nudges us, nags us, haunts us, and pushes us. But it always starts off as a whisper. Now is the time to fully listen to that whisper. This is our opportunity to completely commit to whatever word comes forth for us and allow it to guide us through, not only this upcoming year, but forever and always. This is a vitally important time not to be taken lightly, to connect you with your higher self, your inner guidance system, the I am of you, the only thing that matters, Spirit's voice speaking within. So let's quiet ourselves and get ready to dive in and discover what our soul is longing for. Let's find out what our soul has spent years trying to get our attention for. Does everyone have a stone? As you wait for your stone and your pencil, I want you to know there's no accident that you're here. You are here by divine appointment. This is an important day in your life. Even if it's your first Sunday or your first Sunday in a long time, You've entered a field of unlimited potentiality and possibility. Thank you. This is a field of unconditional love. Okay, so if we're all done, let's settle down, get back in our seats, and feel the vibrational energy here. It is a field of infinite potentiality, infinite possibility. Pick up your stone and hold it in your hand. Look at the whiteness of it. Look at the purity of it. It's a clean slate, a fresh beginning. No matter what last year was like, or even what an hour ago was like, no matter what your life has been like thus far, this stone represents a fresh, purified, and sanctified beginning. And the word sanctified means holy. As you hold these stones in your hand, you are making them holy because you are a holy being. You will have the opportunity in a minute to see or hear or feel what the new name your higher self has for you. The name may be a quality, it may be a verb, it may be a noun, it may be an actual name. It could be an adjective. The word, name, or short phrase you receive is a symbol. It's a pointer, a guide of sorts, a reminder. It has been decreed by source energy, the Holy Spirit or God, just for you. You do not have to share your special word with anyone. It is meant just for you. It's a kind of christening. True christening means Christ finding. Pretty powerful. And please do not be concerned if nothing comes to you in this short meditation. Trust that it will. It may come later today or in the upcoming days or a week. I got a word several years ago, and the word was star. I thought it was star. And I was like, what does that mean? I had no idea. But I pondered on it, and I pondered on it, and I pondered on it, and about 3 months later, I realized that the word wasn't star, it was start. I had to put a T at the end of that, and then it made perfect sense. Keep meditating on your word. It is your word for you. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. Big breath in. Big breath out. Gently close your eyes. Another inhale, and as you breathe in the words fresh and new. And as you breathe out the words old and worn. Again, inhale the words creativity and clarity. And as you breathe out uncertainty and confusion. One more in-breath. Inhale love. Exhale fear. So let's become still for a minute and allow God to express through you and as you. I know most of you have your white stone in your hand. Know it to be a symbol of new life. See it as a symbol of who you are becoming. Feel the presence of God and know your oneness with God. Know your I amness with God. feel that loving presence of God as it surrounds and supports you. And so this white stone is the promise of a new life. Again, it symbolizes a clean slate, a chance to begin again. We will go into the silence now to allow your new name or word to float into your consciousness. Allow it to come in easily. Say yes to it. Remember to keep your mind quiet. This is not a mind activity. Okay, so we'll be silent for about 2 minutes. If a name has come to you, stay quiet and ask for a deeper understanding. Ask if there's any steps to take. Now open your heart to allow gratitude to flow in. Whether you've received a word or a phrase or not, trust that God's got your back, and some word will come to you. If you received your word, take your pencil or pen and write it on your stone. You might want to date it as well. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and ever so gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. You are in the now present, in this now moment. Be assured that all is well, and be grateful. And so thankfulness flows over us as we receive our new name. Along with it comes the power and guidance to achieve all that we desire. This is our new name, our new consciousness. We see it, we decree it, we accept it. Don't forget the decree it part. We decree it. It doesn't happen to us. It happens with us. we're on the path to greater insights and a deeper awareness of the presence of Spirit as us. Behold, all things are made new. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Giving you the kingdom is a higher level of consciousness. I invite you to accept this consciousness of ever-increasing good in your lives and to carry this white stone as a reminder of that promise. This is the end of our white stone meditation. Amen.